Okay, so now we get to one of the most important concepts in simulation, pre-roll. So pre-roll is essentially everything that happens before the animation of a shot. So when you have animators work on a shot, they know when the shot starts, the end point. They know when the shot ends, the out point, and usually they'll animate a little bit past those handles on the beginning side and the ending side, and it's usually for client feedback adjustment on hey, we want a few more frames for this. We want a few less frames. If they've got some sort of transition, if they've got, a cut, if they want to match it up to music, they usually ask for a little bit past the handles. Other benefits of this is, for motion blur purposes, you want the motion blur to look correct already on frame one. And if it starts rendering on frame one, it doesn't necessarily have the information for how the object looked on the previous frame. So usually there's even some rendering that will happen, pre handles or post handles on a shot. And that's great and all. That's usually for artistic purposes. Like the motion blur is something that we're going to see, whether it's 2D or 3D generated, we're going to see and we're going to critique the look of it. However, when you get into simulation, you need technical pre-roll. And what that means is that you need pre-roll that usually goes on for a specific number of frames. You need, a rest pose to shot pose transition that happens for a specific number of frames. You might need some settle, some pre-hold, so that actually just stays put and the muscles settle. And these are foreign concepts to animators, especially traditional animators that are just focused on movement, silhouettes, accents. They might not understand all these technical requirements for simulation, and that can cause a lot of friction in conversations where you have a simulation artist that thinks that, okay, pre-roll is animation's responsibility, and then you have an animator that thinks, why the heck am I doing this? I have no idea what this is used for. I just want to get it done. I thought I was done when I finished my animation shot. So it can cause some challenges, in any pipeline when it comes to pre-roll. So what we're going to do is we are going to completely eliminate that. We are going to use a series of inversion, other locomotion techniques and other kind of cool things with math and frame offsets, so that we don't need to ask animators for any of this movement. We can simply get just the animation from them, whether it has more than the handles or it has less than the handles, and we can completely generate what comes before, what comes after, how long stuff happens. We're going to have all of that at our fingertips. It's all going to be within our control, and we're not going to have any communication between different departments on that aspect. It can stay all in simulation land. So let's just go over a few of the concepts that we're going to talk about in this series, and then we're going to actually dive into the completed network and go over that and take a look at what's going to be involved. And then once we look at that and an example, then we're going to actually recreate it step by step.